dran sind, weil wir haben so einen besonderen Moment, den wir gerade hier alle zusammen erleben können. Bitte?
Einschalten.
Wunderbar. Ja, vielen Dank für den wunderbaren Applaus. Und ich wollte nur diesen kurzen Moment festhalten, den wir hier alle zusammen erleben können, weil wir einen wunderbaren Film gesehen haben, der uns alle sehr gerührt hat. Und diese Person, Roya Mahboob, die ihr alle gerade gesehen habt, ist heute tatsächlich leibhaftig bei uns. Dafür ist sie. Bitte einen großen Applaus. Ja, ich freue mich sehr, dass wir dieses Gespräch jetzt noch anschließen können an diesen Film mit zwei ganz herausragenden Frauen, die hier sitzen. Roya Mahboob habt ihr gesehen, ist in diesem Film und tatsächlich ist sie auch eine Softwareunternehmerin aus Herat, Afghanistan. Sie hat tatsächlich dieses Team gegründet und ist eine derjenigen, die tatsächlich sich jetzt auch noch um das Thema Bildung für Frauen in Afghanistan, insbesondere für Mädchen, kümmert. Und neben ihr ist Sana Saidi auch eine wunderbare Person. Sie lebt hier in Deutschland und hat die Initiative Bildung ohne Bücher gegründet. Da geht es darum, in Afghanistan insbesondere für Mädchen noch Schulbildung zu ermöglichen, mit einem auch sehr innovativen Ansatz, über den wir auch gleich nochmal mehr sprechen werden. Roya, we all saw you in the movie. I'm sure it's not the first time you saw this film, but how is it for you to see yourself and to see this story?
First of all, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me here. And obviously, I mean, it's emotional and it feels so real to see that your stories or our stories are becoming as a film in the big screens. I think we are emotional, but at the same time very honored that our stories become as a film. We are thankful for the cast members and especially the director and production film that they have did amazing things and making sure that they're honoring the people behind and they respected our culture and making sure that to not have too much created in the film because anyway it's a Hollywood movie. And yeah, I mean, looking at that, we feel when I watch the movie, I remember many of the times that we feel exhausted, and I think that they captured that the feeling of the excitement and the fears and the curiosity and the excitement. So you can see that they have done a great job to capture that moments. Yeah, I think that we are proud of that, and we are. Honored that they make our stories as a movie.
Sie haben es nochmal gesagt, das ist natürlich, actually what moved me also a lot is that what we saw is a typical founder story, or a typical story of a competition, yet we also saw how much harder it is, especially if you are a girl from Afghanistan. And your story is also a little bit in the movie, but maybe find out a little bit more about it. Because we saw that your father was a little bit different, your family was a little different. Maybe you can tell us about your way into technology, into actually having this idea.
Sure. I mean, I was lucky. I'm from Afghanistan, very conservative community, but I was lucky to born in a family that my father was educated. He was an engineer himself. and he believed on education for the girls, and he was really support me. But I am one of seven siblings. So, but again, my father was making sure that everyone goes to higher education. We are 6 engineers, 3 computer science, 3 civil engineers. So I think that for me was a bit quite different because easier. My family was educated. They helped and supported me to grow. And it's very important in a very male-dominated to have your father as a support. It's very make a difference when your father support you or your brother support you. You want to translate it?
Yeah.
And for me, stories that I was obviously I grew up in Iran and as a refugee, and then when we returned back to Afghanistan, I remember the first day that there was a cafe in Herat that was just opened, and it was good for only boys to go and learn about computer. And my cousin and my brother would they go to this cafe and they work with a computer. And they're talking about this magic box that connect you with the outside world. And I was insistent that I have to go there. And a good girl wasn't walking in a cafe at the time. And so I was insistent, and I went to this cafe and I saw the computer, and I saw this window and this glowing screen that connect you with outside world, and it gave me access not only to the knowledge and education, but also to opportunities. And I feel that, that the knowledge is not locked away, or opportunity is not locked to the border of the country. So I saw that this screen will change my life and make sure that technology be central for my career. And then I went to computer science, and I just met one of my classmates from Robotics here, Khadija. I'm glad to see you here after many years, but I went to computer science, and our computer science had a partnership with Germany, with Technical University of Berlin. So we had a German teacher, German professors at Roya University that they taught us. And I came to Berlin for 1 semester. So I think that the learning technology is shaped by, somehow says by German university, but by the opportunities that we got at American High School to Germany, and specifically the Technical University of Berlin. And my classmates from years ago, I'm not going to say that which year because then you all know my age, but my classmate is here and she's doing her PhD, and I'm so glad to see her here. That's how I studied computer science, and then I started my company when I was a student at university. And then after I started my company, I was IT coordinator at the university as well, but then I started my company. My IME was that to create a company that create jobs for the people who graduate from computer science and giving the access to them, because it was very male-dominated industry. And I wanted to create a safe space that women can feel easily, because it's a woman environment, and they can still work and they can get paid. And that's how I got involved with the business style, and I became one of the first female CEO at the time. And then I realized that there are millions of the girls who are like me, curious but giving another vision to explore the world. And I only wanted to give them the same chance that I had in any cafe, give them access to technology and let them to make a decision how their lives gonna shape and change. And that's how I started Digital Fund, my nonprofit organization. We're building 13 technology centers, 11 of them located at the public schools, and we're teaching young girls to learn about digital literacy, financial literacy, and entrepreneurship. We help 24,000 of the girls to control our program, help hundreds of them to start their own startups, and that's why I'm very proud of them. That's how my organization is growing and evolving. And that's in 2017. Do you want to tell about the robotics story?
Maybe it's interesting, since we don't have so much time to know a little bit more, to come in the here and now a little bit and understand. We saw the story of the girls. That was in 2017, yet it feels like it's 50 years ago. What happened to this team? Where are these ladies now?
At the moment, most of the members after fall of Kabul, we evacuate them, and many of them relocated in Qatar at the beginning because the evacuation has happened. And then we brought them to US, in Canada, and UK, and right now many of them are studying different universities. One of our students, she just graduated this year from Mechanical University of Engineering, and it's for software engineering. And then one of our students also get accepted at aerospace engineering from MIT University. So we are very proud of these students that are studying.
I'm talking about that in the last days I've spent some time with you, and I understood that when we talk about the Taliban, we never refer to it as the government or the regime, but just say the Taliban. And here in Germany, we are witnessing that they are taking over the embassies. In Berlin, it's being discussed whether the flag is going to be on the embassy. So how does it make you feel, and what is your address when you see politicians, when you meet them and you can talk to them about it?
Well, I mean, I just say that they have to look. I mean, Germany is always says that they are for, human rights and they support human rights, and but when it's come to the act, we see different from the politicians. Giving the embassy to a group of extremists that they have been trying that making half of the populations suffer. There is no any country in the world that the people who are governed, or we can call them government, but created in the last 4 years more than 198 military coups to limit the public, the lives of the public, of the women in the public lives. They denied access to education for 2.2 million Afghan girls, and they made it, they increasing the numbers of the child marriage and the rise of the abuse. And by 2026, 50% the mother who born the child, they will be increased by 2026. 50%, don't talk about 5 or 10, 50% by 2026. And then the UNIMAS survey shows that 78% of the women, they suffer from anxiety and stress. And 1 in 10 women attempted to do suicide. So how, this is not the word that we can use that like they are restriction or wrong or we need to prosecute it. This is just simply a creative word is a gender apartheid regime that systematically trying to exclude the women from the public life. And it is not, as if people telling you it's a cultural, this is wrong. If the people telling you that this is conservatism, it's absolutely wrong. This is just crime against the community, crime against dignity, and also threat to the peace.
I'm referring to what you said, that it's neither tradition nor anything cultural, nor it's something that you could say it's just conservative politics. And maybe you could elaborate a little bit more for people who are here trying to have this conversation about how can we actually address it.
I think that is just simple. The history will remember those who enabled this type of the regimes to oppress the woman. We have to call them and name them and shame on them. Because this is not something, I mean, I would like to ask the politicians, how are you going to tell to your wife and your daughter, or even to your mom, that you sign a legislation or a law to giving an embassy to a terrorist group? A regime, or we call it a regime of the people that they take every single rights of the woman. The woman in Afghanistan cannot even go to hospitals. 2 days ago in Herat, there was a protest because the Taliban announced that they have to wear appropriate, but without appropriate they cannot go to hospitals. So we lost a woman, a mother and child, because they didn't have a appropriate to wear and cover their face. We can't just normalizing this. And extremist and terrorism are diseases like cancer that caused by poverty, caused by not having infrastructure and opportunity, and that's how this type of regime trying to keeping people in the darkness because it's helped them to stay in the power. You saw in the movie that Afghans didn't live like the way that right now living in Afghanistan. Women could go to the schools, women could start the businesses, women could go playing the football, and then they could even, ride the bicycles. They could also go and compete in the international stages in robotics and AI. But unfortunately, media didn't show that part. We had a lot of successful stories like Robotics. We had women in businesses, we had women as a judge, a doctor, as a minister, as a parliament representative. But today, in a small group of people, they took the power, which they're giving the power to them, and they try to making every kind of the law to erasing every rights for the woman, half of the population. Why? Because they want to keep staying in power. As much as people living in the darkness, for them it's easier to control the population. So we need to shame those politicians that they are enabling these people who are gender apartheid and the people who are trying to control the lives of the women. I wanted to ask them how you can tell to your wife and your daughter, and also from the woman who's supporting, who's politician, who support this. Are you agree that your daughters live in such a situation? So I don't want to hear in their lecture about human rights and women's rights, because they have proven that this is only in the books, but they're not going to implement it even and go there. I mean, in terms of the politics, they're not going to go implement it.
I was just saying that also as a woman, I have the feeling that it's because it's about women, it's always a secondary issue anyways, because all over the world, also in Germany, women are considered secondary people by many people. And there's a statistic by the UN that says 9 in 10 persons in the world, so women and men, have a bias against women.
Unfortunately, that's true. And one of the things that I can add here, but we have amazing resilience Afghan women. Despite that they're trying to ignore us in the West, not only in Afghanistan, I have seen that the Afghan women who are in diaspora or they moved to diaspora, they keep continuing to fighting for the rights of the women, and but also the women inside of the country. We have seen the last 4 years the resilience of these Afghan women, that they trying to figure out how to study, either online education, finding the scholarship, or doing the underground education. That's gives me hope. Yes, today it might be seems difficult, but those young generation give us hope because they didn't give up. I think that the hope is not just a feeling, but the commitment to work and to fight together to make sure the next generation have better lives, but even if the moment seems dark. I mean, if you have seen that a signal opportunity how to change the lives of one person. If you are in your community, support the women. And if you can open opportunity either in tech or any other industries you can do in your own community. But also, you know, if you mentor a girl, especially for Afghanistan, if you can mentor a girl, provide a laptop or provide even a data for girls to get connected to internet, provide a scholarship for them. I think these are all the things, even tablets can help a lot of these girls in the country. And the most important things, make sure to share the stories of those girls, talking with your politicians, and making sure that politicians and the politics not allow this regime to keep and strengthen, to keep continue to put the women in danger and taking all of their rights.
So thank you so much for the two of you for being here. Thank you for this wonderful film. Thank you. Ich möchte noch kurz sagen, es ist dieser tolle Film Rule Breakers.
Ja.